There is no surface here, no sound of waves, no light, only darkness. Thick, endless, and unmoving. Fine particles drift through the water like ash suspended in time. A beam of artificial light cuts through the void, and something appears. Not all at once, just fragments. A jagged edge, a hollow frame, a shape that should not exist this deep. Welcome to Poseidon's Depths, where ancient ocean legends meet modern scientific discovery. Today, we explore the deepest shipwreck ever discovered, a vessel lost to war and found where almost nothing else has ever been. It was not found by accident, it was searched for. For years, historians and scientists followed fragments of the past. Coordinates, logs, survivor accounts, each detail narrowing an ocean that was almost infinite, until one expedition, led by Victorvescovo in 2022, descended into one of the least explored regions on Earth. Not a place marked on maps, not a place remembered, a place defined only by depth, nearly 7,000 meters below the surface, far beyond sunlight, far beyond reach, a depth where pressure exceeds 700 times that at sea level. Steel collapses here, glass shatters. Human bodies cannot survive even seconds. Even sound feels different, muted, swallowed, absorbed by distance. And yet, a submersible reached the seafloor. Encased in engineered steel, balanced against impossible force, descending slowly through layers of fading blue, until even blue disappeared. Its lights cut through the darkness, not wide, not powerful, just enough to see what was directly ahead. The rest remained hidden, unknown, and then something interrupted it. Something that did not belong to geology, something built, metal. They had found it, the remains of the USS Samuel B. DE-413, a warship lost during the Battle of Samar, one of the most intense naval engagements in history. A ship that once moved with purpose, now resting in absolute stillness. It had not just sunk, it had fallen, through layers of ocean, through time, through memory, until it reached a place where almost nothing else exists. The deepest known resting place of any ship ever discovered. And for decades, it remained unseen, not destroyed, not erased, just hidden. The ship did not disappear. It broke apart as it descended into the depths with increasing pressure and structural stress, twisting its metal and collapsing its internal compartments before it finally struck the seafloor. What remains today is not a single intact vessel, but a scattered collection of fragments, shaped by the violence of its sinking and the immense forces acting upon it during its fall. And yet, despite this destruction, much of the wreck still remains. Sections of the hull continue to stand, bent and broken, but still recognizable, their outlines visible against the otherwise featureless seafloor. The overall shape of the vessel can still be traced, as if the ocean has allowed just enough of it to persist to tell its story. Over time, fine sediment has gathered around the wreck, settling slowly in layers across decades and gently filling gaps within the structure. This sediment does not bury the wreck completely, but instead stabilizes it, holding fragile sections in place and protecting them from further damage in an environment where disturbance is minimal. Scattered around the wreck are objects that once belonged to the ship and its crew, now resting exactly where they were left at the moment of disaster. Plates remain where meals once ended, machinery lies silent where it once operated, and fragments of daily life are frozen in place, untouched by time or human interference. Metal structures endure in this environment, and ceramic materials persist with surprising clarity, their surfaces dulled but still intact after decades in the deep. More delicate materials, such as cloth, paper, or untreated wood, have not survived in the same way, yet they leave behind faint impressions in the surrounding silt, subtle traces that suggest their former presence even after their physical form has disappeared. Each artifact acts as a quiet record, preserving not only the moment of the ship's loss, but also the ordinary routines that came before it. These objects reveal glimpses of life on board, capturing moments that were never meant to be remembered in this way. In the deep ocean, time does not stop, but it moves differently. The near-freezing temperatures, the complete absence of light, and the extremely low levels of oxygen all work together to slow the processes of decay to a fraction of their normal rate. Materials that would quickly degrade in shallow, oxygen-rich waters can survive here for decades or even centuries. Wood can persist far longer than expected, while metal corrodes slowly and steadily rather than rapidly breaking down. Without waves, storms, or strong currents to disturb the site, the wreck remains largely undisturbed, existing in a state of suspended change. The abyss does not preserve perfectly, and it does not prevent all decay, but it preserves enough. Enough of the structure remains to recognize what the ship once was, and enough of its artifacts survive to remind us that it was not just a vessel, but a place where people lived, worked, and existed, until the moment it was lost. Shipwrecks themselves are not rare, but the ocean in which they rest is so vast that finding them becomes extraordinarily difficult. More than 80% of the seafloor remains unexplored in any meaningful way, not directly seen, not physically visited, and not carefully surveyed. What we know of the deep ocean is based largely on indirect mapping, leaving most of its details hidden in darkness. Reaching depths like these requires highly specialized technology designed to survive conditions that would destroy ordinary equipment. Submersibles must be engineered to withstand immense pressure, while remotely operated and autonomous vehicles must navigate in complete darkness, relying entirely on artificial light and sensors to function. Each expedition demands significant resources, coordination, and time, making deep-sea exploration both costly and limited in scope. Even when everything operates perfectly, each mission can only cover a very small portion of the seafloor. Sonar scans reveal narrow strips of terrain, and robotic vehicles move slowly across the bottom, observing only what falls within their immediate field of view. The search for a single wreck, therefore, becomes a process of systematically examining an almost incomprehensibly large area, one small section at a time. Unlike landscapes on land, the deep ocean offers no clear landmarks to guide a search. There are no visible reference points, no obvious paths, and no signs to indicate where something might be hidden. Instead, there is only an expansive, largely uniform seafloor that stretches for thousands of kilometers in every direction. Within this immense and featureless environment, countless shipwrecks likely remain undiscovered. They have been lost to storms, to warfare, and to navigational error, disappearing beneath the surface without leaving a trace that could guide future searches. These wrecks are not necessarily destroyed or erased. Many may still exist in varying states of preservation. They remain unseen, not because they are gone, but because they have never been found. We are still uncovering our own history in the deep, not in books, not in archives, but in darkness. Each wreck is a story paused, journeys interrupted, lives ended, moments frozen in steel, hidden not by time, but by depth. For all we have mapped, for all we believe we know, the ocean remains one of the least explored places on Earth, a vast frontier where history and mystery exist side by side. And somewhere below, there are still stories waiting. The deep ocean does not give up what it holds. It does not erase, it conceals. Even where pressure buries history beneath kilometers of water, the past remains. It continues below, in darkness we have barely touched. If so much of our history still lies hidden, what else is waiting in the depths we have yet to reach? Subscribe to Poseidon's Depths and explore Earth's last frontier. Hit the bell to never miss a dive. What secrets will Poseidon's domain reveal next? Join us and find out.